Welcome to Order Militaris Radio TV, and we are lifelong Catholics, and what we do is all for free, and for love of Jesus Christ, and for our Holy Mother, the Church, and will defend our Holy Mother, the Church. The opinions of the show are these doing the show, and not of the reflect the order itself. And we welcome Brother Alexis Bonillo to the show to discuss post so-called election, what is going on in America.
Thank you, AJ, for having me on. It's always a pleasure to be on Order Militaris Radio TV, and especially for this program, unplugging from the Matrix, and or in less polite form, we told you so. And
so,
in my opinion, Order Militaris Radio TV has been the only Catholic media apostolate in the entire world, but especially in English, that told you what was going to happen before it happened, just as it happened. We were right 100%, except for some minor details. And you need to know the truth now that you've seen the shock. Okay, so AJ, take it.
Yeah. So I wasn't watching the inauguration, but I was following it on Twitter and seeing everybody's reaction. One thing that people were talking about, Joe Biden was given a shorter oath of office than the usual oath of office the president would take. Now, why is that bad? Well, because if you use a different oath, you're not the president.
That's true. I think they pretty much know he's not the president. But even when they did the oath,
it was 10 minutes before noon, and Kamala was 20 minutes before noon. And in the Constitution, it states the oath of office for both of them have to be at noon.
So they take liberties right from the beginning. Our position is he's not been inaugurated. You can't be an inaugurated president unless you win the election, but we'll get to that. Well, there wasn't even anyone at this inauguration. There was like 70,000 flags and 100 people.
Yeah.
Where are all those 80 million Biden voters?
That was a good question because there was only in the entire watching thing online TV was only like 70-some thousand watched.
Yeah, and on some YouTube channels, I think there were 3,000 thumbs up and 13,000 thumbs down. Rasmussen did a poll before the inauguration and said, "Are you going to watch the inauguration?" 23% said they'd watch it. 39% said they wouldn't watch even a minute of it. So how is it that you won the election if only 23% are going to watch it and 39% they won't watch anything? It kind of implies that 50% more people voted for Trump, voted for Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And that 23% catches my eye because I've done some polling in social media, and you always end up with 23% of the people saying they voted for Biden. You never get more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's probably who really voted for him.
Mm-hmm. Now, when Antifa and Black Lives Don't Matter showed up, trashing the parks in D.C., burning that historic church down, the police had a right to be there to do their thing, but what the military did in making D.C. a military stronghold was also against the Constitution.
Yeah, the whole purpose of the District of Columbia is a place that is for the people and for their representatives, not to be threatened by military force. That's what we fought against in a revolution, military occupation. And I will say, not only as a friar or a man of God, but in my capacity of president of Order Militaris, and this is the only comment here I make in my capacity, I am disgusted at the U.S. military, what they've done. They've taken an oath to uphold the Constitution, and they've trashed their entire oath in participating willingly in this usurpation and the military occupation of the Capitol and of other state capitals on that day for no reason whatsoever. Everyone in the country knows that Antifa attacked the Capitol, had nothing to do with American citizens. That end of my comment as president of Order Militaris.
Yep. Now we're going to get into the election, which is no on some platforms, but the only judge who upheld the Constitution and did the right thing was that tiny county judge in Michigan. Every other judge in the country violated the Constitution by not hearing or even wanting to see the evidence of the fraud.
They totally trashed the 14th Amendment. Now, since the 60s, the civil rights movement, the courts around the country, both states and federal courts, are always citing the 14th Amendment. Oh, civil rights. You can't take away people's right to vote. You've got to grant them this and that and this and that because they have civil rights. You can't water down their vote. You can't do. But then they trashed everyone's votes because it doesn't threaten anyone's right to vote to investigate if there was fraud. Matter of fact, that's the only way to defend a right to vote. So the entire courts, all the way up to the Supreme Court, are corrupt, totally corrupt. I think only 2 Supreme Court justices said that case from Texas should have been heard.
Yep.
And that was a complete breach of the Constitution, which says explicitly the states have the right to sue one another. Explicitly.
Oh, there's another not American citizen as a vice president, Kamala Harris. Jamaican.
Yeah, Kamala Harris. She's not even eligible to be vice president yet. Born on U.S. soil, but of 2 foreigners at the moment of her birth. So she's not natural born, and you have to be a natural born citizen to qualify to succeed the president if he should die in office.
Yeah.
And well, Biden doesn't look very healthy, to say that. So.
Yeah. So, America was played.
And, you know, we told people being played, but the thing, don't ignore reality. Unplug from the propaganda. Biden betrayed the American voters by counting fraudulent electoral ballots on the 6th. The entire Congress betrayed the American people by staying in that fraudulent session and hearing the count. And then did you lose me?
Yeah. But we're still recording.
Okay. So then all the congressmen stayed in Congress and betrayed the entire Constitution and the American people by going along with the fraud. How can you represent the people if they don't have the right to elect their president? And if you steal 80 million votes and violate the 14th Amendment, Pence violated the 12th Amendment because he's only supposed to count regular votes, regularly cast ballots. That's 14. He violated the law of 1887. He broke. The thing is he counted ballots to cause himself to lose. Because those ballots he counted caused him not to win the vice presidency. Now, does that even make any logical sense?
No.
It shows that he's more loyal to something than even to himself. And this something isn't the God of truth.
Yeah. So after he got done doing that little dirty deed, everyone saw around the world the Masonic handshake and the silver slash gold coin.
Yeah, that coin in the hand. That was like, hey, Judas, here's your 30 pieces of silver for the deed. That coin meant something more than just a little coin in the hand.
Mm-hmm.
And well, maybe it was Masonic, or maybe it was just a commemorative coin. Maybe it was a Joe Biden president coin or something like that. But there's something really strange in the psychology of Mike Pence that he should do that. Because if you don't want to be, if you hate Trump, why run as his vice president?
Mm-hmm.
Always resign.
Yeah.
Why run as his vice president, go through all the battle about the election, and then stab him in the back at the last moment?
Yeah.
That is the worst of treacheries. Okay. And actually, that galvanized the whole nation against the Democrats and against the whole swamp. And the next day, we all expected Trump to announce, second revolution, I'm going to now mobilize the army. This is a complete travesty, and I'm going to arrest all the criminals. But he didn't do that either.
No, but you found an article from June on what he was signaling.
Yeah, I found an article written by a liberal in June said, what if Trump just surrenders after claiming massive voter fraud and losing in the electoral college and then surrendering? I mean, when was the last time you knew that some liberal, demonic-loving Democrat had the grace of prophecy?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So the only other way he knows it is because that's what the lodge's plan was.
Mm-hmm.
And why is it the Democrats know it, but the Republicans don't?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, November 23rd, I said Trump would surrender.
Mm-hmm.
I said he'd surrender before Christmas, but he did a bit late. I said he'd surrender, he'd give up, because he was playing us all along. And we were right. I was right.
Mm-hmm.
And no other Catholic talking head said that. So if you're watching Taylor Marshall, the Catholic ambassador of Trump, where's he today? Was he a Catholic ambassador? What was he? Michael Matt, who says Trump in surrendering actually won. He's absolutely lost his head. Steve Stojak, who thinks it's good that Trump's going and Biden's come. He's a complete traitor to the people. He's a swamp creature. The others, I don't know where they're coming from. Frank Walker has been a bit tame and quiet about it. I think most people are in shock. But we told you what was going to happen. And all those guys out there, they should say, A.J. Bauman and Alexis Spagnolo on Auto Militaris Radio TV, they were right and we were wrong. When we told you it was a mortal sin if you don't vote for Trump, we were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And where's the praise? I hear crickets out there because this is too big of an apple to swallow. They're totally been discredited. You listen to any of those frauds anymore, you're just an absolute idiot. Because they sucked up all the propaganda, they regurgitated it, and they fed it to you. And Michael Matt is so off the chart into Lululand that he said if it wasn't for Donald Trump, we wouldn't know that Bergoglio is fake, a fraud. That's how whacked out he is.
Mm-hmm. How far back did we warn you all? Oh, let's see. August.
August, we told you. What did we tell them in August about Trump?
Let's see. Let's see. He was. Oh yeah, his daddy took a loan from Harriman.
Harriman. And who's Harriman?
The guy behind everything going on in America.
And Harriman was a member of what lodge?
Skull and Bones on Yale University.
And Skull and Bones was behind how many wars?
Oh, let's see, the Russian Revolution, one, maybe World War One, World War Two. I say all of them.
And they founded what deep state organization?
The CIA.
So then we told you Trump, this is why Trump wouldn't drain the swamp. Trump is a swamp creature. He is the most loyal defender of the swamp. I mean, you watch a video that's out there called The Jewish Banksters Behind Trump, and I published it from room.info. He's been like that with the whole real estate mafia of Manhattan. You don't get loans from 80 banks unless you're the friend of everyone in Manhattan, and Manhattan is not a holy place.
Mm-hmm. And it seems he was a puppet under the main one, Adelson, who just recently died.
Yeah, and remember what I said? I said Trump would surrender, and people were saying, how could he surrender? I said, look, he'll surrender and he won't be even show to be that upset. Why? Because when a person surrenders in a big drama, he's just an actor. Mm-hmm. Because if you're just playing a part and you don't really give a damn, you're just playing a part, it's just an act, then when you surrender in Act 2, it's because it introduces Act 3. Biden is Act 3, Trump is Act 2, Obama was Act 1. Mm-hmm. And you go out stage left or stage right, and that's it. And people applaud you for having been killed as the just leader, betrayed by everyone. But if you're a puppet and your puppet master dies, you stop acting because he held all the strings. And in fact, Adelson died, I think he died on the 6th, if I'm correct. And well, that's why Trump surrendered.
Yep.
Maybe he died on the 4th, so Trump surrendered. And some people are so drunk on the Kool-Aid, they still say, he never said, I concede. They think it's a papal resignation. You have to say, there's a canon law out there that says you must say, I concede the presidency to lose the president. That's not how America works. Of course, none of this is how America works.
Yeah.
People are saying he's the greatest president ever, and he surrendered when he could had all the power of the presidency. He could, on the day after Pence stabbed in the back, he could have had them all arrested for fraud. Mm-hmm. Or he could have gone to court in D.C. and filed a quo warranto and said they have no right to hold office because you have to judge it by the ballots. He could have asked the state legislatures to change to nullify what Biden did and allow them to investigate their elections. He didn't do any of that. He didn't fight. His own lawyer, Giuliani, filed more than 30 cases that lost. They didn't only lose because the courts are corrupt. As Chris Christie of New Jersey said, Trump has the worst legal team in the country because in public they say fraud, but when they get to court, they don't say to the judge, we believe fraud has been committed and here's the reason. So it's like they were filing cases that they never intended to win. And if you watch that first interview in mid-November by Giuliani at the beginning, you see that he's not really certain about what he's going to say, as if he knows this is all an act. And Sidney Powell's there that day. And what has Sidney Powell said? She says of Biden, President Biden.
Yep.
Now, when your own counsel calls your opponent president, when you're saying he stole the election, that you're fooling everyone.
Yep.
You're absolutely fooling everyone. And that's how the Democrats knew it was going on, because this is a psyop organized by Barack Obama. Who was friends like this with Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Hillary Clinton all the 8 years of Obama? What was his name?
Soros?
Soros, but Donald Trump too. Donald Trump was the friend of these three. So, if you're going to, you can only hold 2 terms. Obama's going out of office. What better to do to get the Republicans to take a candidate that's your friend that will guarantee that you, Biden, Hillary, will never be prosecuted? Get Trump. He's the best salesman in town. Hire him.
Yep.
We've been, we have been played. The world has been played. The American people have been played.
Hmm. And Trump was nothing but a salesman. He knows how to sell a brand.
Boy, does he. Day one, he could have done what Biden did. Biden, day one, canceled everything of the Trump administration. Now, Trump said he drained the swamp, but day one, he didn't do it. And people saying, why didn't you drain the swamp day one? No, but what he did was he watched the polls. And when his polls were going down, he would do one little thing. And the polls were going down, he'd do one thing. So in 4 years, with little crumbs, he gave the crumbs to the conservatives. 4 little years he did. And people saying, Haley, he's great, he keeps giving us crumbs. And then Biden gets rid of it in one day. Where are you now? Eat your own words. One day, Biden got rid of 4 years of Trump.
Hmm.
Now, no one would say Biden is an alpha male,
Oh,
but he is more zealous to his cause than Trump ever was.
yep.
Trump is a beta male. He's a beta male. Romney's a beta male. McCain is a beta male. Bush Jr. is a beta male. They're all betas.
Hmm.
We've had it up to here with Republican Protestant betas. They were all fakes, all frauds, all designed to fail so that Marxism could take over the country.
Yeah. And once again, they're those same Republican mindless twits are going out. Oh, Trump's gonna come back in 2024, and he's also talking about starting a party called Patriot Party. He's gonna save us again.
The Patriot Party is deep state, or it's at least Mossad. I did an article at From Rome today on the Patriot Party and how fraud it is. And by Patriot Party, I do not mean the political party in Winter Haven, Florida, which is actually registered as the Patriot Party. They
Hmm.
have nothing to do with what we're talking about. But big league politics,
Hmm.
major Italian newspapers, and major video channels in Europe all today started talking about the Patriot Party. Now, how is that possible?
Because let's see, you have to have connections to the deep state to get everything spread out, plus money.
Yeah, and the Patriot. And why would you be spending information about the Patriot Party? Look at folks. What does the New World Order fear? They fear someone who would be opposed to them. Now, the American people are ripe to vote for a person like that. So, what do you have to do? You have to destroy the entire political opposition. And how's the best to do that? Separate your Pied Piper from the Republican Party. That will destroy the Republican Party, and have him set up a new fake party. And then all those mindless idiots, they'll go vote for Trump and they'll go back into the prison.
Hmm.
Biden will win a second term if he's still alive, but will be Kamala Harris, the witch of Jamaica. And you'll be in prison for a couple generations because you are mindless twits if you keep listening to these people. Don't listen to Taylor Marshall. He's an idiot. Don't listen to Steve Skojec. He's a self-loving idiot. Don't listen to Michael Matt, who went to his little Masonic Christendom college founded by Skull and Bones CIA agents. He is an absolute twit. He can't even admit he's wrong. I mean, he said that Trump taught us that Bergoglio is a fake. Michael Matt forgets that on the day Trump was inaugurated, he wrote a letter saying Bergoglio was a fake. So he knew about it before Trump, but now today he's saying that Trump taught us that. What? He said God raised up Trump. God doesn't raise up liars, frauds, and cowards. King David wasn't a coward. Even Saul wasn't a coward. There is absolutely no one God has raised up as a coward. Did God raise up Judas Iscariot, Michael Matt? Are you saying that, Michael Matt, are you saying that Judas Iscariot was raised up by God? Is that what you're saying? You're saying cowardice comes from God? That's blasphemy. Michael Matt is a blasphemer. Taylor Marshall is an absolute fraud. And Skojec is an absolutely backbiting piece of, that's what he is.
Hmm.
And you have to detach yourself from these frauds and liars. or you're going to be led astray. It is a punishment for sinners that they listen to liars. If you don't have the grace of God, you will allow yourself to be deceived by liars, because you are like Eve in the garden who won't listen to God. Now, if you love the true God, you hate liars, you hate fraudsters, and you despise cowards. And if you don't have those three attachments, you're not even on the right side of the road, okay? You're not even on the way to heaven. You're a denizen of hell, and this is what these people have given to you. They've given you the whole American republic has disintegrated in 1 week. And if you can't see it, you're completely blind, and you should just shut your mouth, because you're not giving anyone any help by opening it.
Yep. That is where we also see. I think September. Yeah, September. We did the show on St. Brendan the Explorer, and right after that, we started Catholic Party for America. Get this nation back to the vision of the founding fathers and back to Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and we have to go back to reality, because in a Masonic government, when you're ruled by Masons, laws, tradition, morals, culture, even vote tallies, it doesn't matter. What the lodge decides happens, and you've just seen it. And if you close your eyes to it, you'll remain their prisoner. Because the American people is not the land of the home and free, the land of the brave, home of the free, things, whatever. It's none of that anymore. If you close your eyes to this, I have to thank Almighty God that it's now so obvious. But if you don't unplug from the matrix of lies now, you're damned, and you will be damned, and you will go to damnation. And Sister Lucia told us communism would rule the whole world. Even America? Yes, even America.
Yep.
And you've just seen the Marxist dictatorship. And it's going to get really bad really quick for everyone in America. It's going to get so bad. Because why? They know Biden didn't win. They know they've stolen the presidency. They know they stole the votes in the House and in the Senate, both of which would be in Republican control if they didn't fix the ballot machines in the country. So how are they going to defend their lie? With more lies. It's like when you catch a fraudster in one lie, he has to weave even more lies. So they're going to do outrageous things. They're going to violate every part of the Constitution, and both Republican and Democrat parties will go right along because they're Masonic fronts.
Yep.
And you're going to be talking about you don't have, face it, you do not have any constitutional rights anymore, because you've allowed the Constitution to be trashed in the election. You should be going like, I said in my open letter to the governors, you should get the states to nullify what Biden did, because you don't become president just because the other guy gives up. And if the other guy gave up, he was a fraudster too, and then there was no election. Okay. And if the political elites totally engineered a fake election, then the Constitution doesn't mean anything anymore. And your last bastion is to go to the states and have them nullify it. And if they don't nullify it, then you have no government. Okay. There is no federal government that's legitimate right now. So stop paying federal taxes. You have no obligation. Don't sign up to the U.S. military. That is now a Nazi army. Okay. If you're in the military, you should leave, or you should get your commanding officers to say, Biden is not our president, and we're not going to stand for this. And because this is common sense. If the Declaration of Independence no longer means anything, if it's now illegal to do what our founding fathers did, this is not America anymore.
Yep. Let's see. What else should we add?
I would highly encourage you to join the Catholic Party for America. I mean, this is a party that's not controlled by Freemasons, that has the honor and glory of Jesus Christ the King as its goal, who wants people truly to have the civil, natural, and human liberties that our Creator has given us and our Catholic faith teaches, and wants to do it legally, honestly, and uprightly. And now's the time to totally separate from the other parties. The Catholics in this country need to work together. And I'm talking about the Catholics that are from Latin America and the Catholics that are from Europe and the Catholics who've lived in America for generations. You need to dump the puritanical Protestant WASP parties that have fooled you for 100 years, the Republicans and Democrats. And anyone who votes for either of those parties anymore is not even credible as a person. He's just a fool. And as a Catholic, you should be in a Catholic party dedicated to Jesus Christ, and you should be working for that. Because Padre Pio said the United States will become a Catholic nation, and so we need a Catholic party.
Yep. So go to CatholicPartyForAmerica.com. That is Catholic, FOR, America.com. And to join currently, just go to the join page, fill out the little message box, and follow the directions on what it asks you to give us, and we'll get back to you quickly. And I want to thank our members and 2 members in California, 2 members in Kansas, a member in Massachusetts, New Jersey, and Louisiana.
Okay, that's a good start. So don't close your eyes to the reality. Snap out of the mind control, unplug from the matrix, and now realize America is gone. Catholics now have to rebuild it from scratch, because what you have now is a Marxist dictatorship. It's going to get really bad really quick, but you have to act now. It's not like I'm going to say my rosary and go home. I'm not Our Lady's rosary is the most powerful thing, but Our Lady never said say my rosary and then absolve yourself from doing anything. That's false devotion. St. Louis Maria Montfort says if you have that kind of devotion to Our Lady, you're going to go to hell, because no saint acted that way.
Mm-hmm. So please join us, and we'll be using my relatives' writings to restore and rebirth this nation, and also my neighbor from Maryland, who is the only Catholic signer of the Declaration of Independence, Charles Carroll of Carrollton. I mean, their writings are there, and we're going to go back to the original sources and use them to save this nation.
That's the way to do it.
Yep. So this is Order Militaris Radio TV signing off. Deus Vol.
Deus Vol.